This book, this novel, this Villette, is a big, hard book. Indeed, my vintage classic is 657 pages long of text. It was Charolette's last book, and it was written after everyone was dead about her. And they had all died. Her brother, her two sisters, of the same thing, consumption. And she would die of it too, soon. There's direct tie-ins. One's a word in Light in August, the same word on page 314. That's a thesis for someone. Not me, but for someone else. Another tie-in to Faulkner in Villette, and I'll get to that right now. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. This is going to be a detailed review with spoilers. I mean, the book is only 150 some years old. All right. Where should I start? Let's start with the next time I read this will be with the annotated text, which I could have got for $10, and I will next year. Mark that. I'll reread it for next Victober. I really liked it, but there's a lot of French in this. On page, I think it's 304 and 305. Just for example, and I can't read French, or I'd read it to you. But just over my head, I looked up different words. Like chapter 14 is when it started with the fete. You look that up, it says carnival or something like that, but it really is an outside vaudeville singing type thing, and that's a great chapter in here where Lucy Snow is persuaded to perform. She does so with dressing half as a boy with another character, Genevieve, who and there's another character, Holly, who was introduced in the beginning of the novel. And the novel was criticized for this, because they spent like 3 chapters on this Polly, who's an adorable kid, and you get to see her grow up with Genevieve too. How they get married, Genevieve becomes a countess, but and that's the whole 600 and something. No, that's minor plot. I started getting into things, reading secondary sources about the unreliable narrator, about Lucy, and going into the novel, I did know that it was a portrayal of a character who was depressed. Some people don't really talk about that too much, from what I've seen on BookTube, about the fact that she's doing narcotics at night to sleep. She's seeing things. The ghost's name is Janine. What is it? The name? Justine Marie. What name is this? Justine Marie. She sees the ghost on 335, page 335, page 614. And Justine Marie is a nun who I believe is a ghost. It's up to the reader to decide. And that's part of this novel is a fun novel to read. The techniques that Charlotte Brontë uses, such as talking directly to the reader. That's where you find out she's been lying to us. But I started getting into criticism about there might be 2 different readers, and I could have went into this novel, which I will next year, when I understand the French in it, would be a big help. Also, I'm going to link below to another edition and I don't have the edition, but it came with a introduction by who, Alan? Introduction to Villette. Um, it's a good link. She reads the whole entire introduction, and it's the one where uh, they emphasize Lucy Snow is not Jane Eyre. The woman's name who reads it, and her booktube site, her name is Amanda Center. It's from 2016. Let's see. I'd like to mention that Lucy's Protestantism. She's a definite Protestant, and others about her are Catholics. The French are Catholic. Her friends are Catholic. Her, I was going to say suitors are Catholic. See, I'm half like don't want to spoil it because it's such a fun book to read, and I'm definitely not going to spoil the ending. Although I'd like to comment on it somehow if I can, and to the point of Lucy's unrequited love. Now I understand that part of it with Dr. Paul, but then in the end, it's even better. And by the end, I mean the end of the book and the new thread. I'll leave it like that. Besides the French in this book, there's much mythology, Greek mythology. Talk about Hebe, the cupbearer for the gods and goddesses. Let's talk of the Witch of Endor, which isn't one of the witches in Macbeth, but is from the first book of Samuel. A lot of biblical references in this, and in Victorian literature. At that time, it's a rich source of material, the Bible, especially the Old Testament. And there's a chapter titled, I want to say Vishnu, but I know it's not Vishnu. Cleopatra, letters to and from Lucy, like a epistolary. The letters are in here, and she spends a lot of time writing letters and receiving letters and talking about letters and the importance of letters as staying in contact, staying in touch. Chapter 23 is Vishti. Okay, everyone knows who Vishti is, right? The Queen of Persia. See, I had to look that up. But the novel is rich in material. The language is beautiful, and I'm going to look into the Faulkner aspects of it, especially this word that appears at the end of the novel on page 620. The day succeeding this remarkable midsummer night proved no common day. I do not mean that it brought signs in heaven above or portents on the earth beneath, nor do I allude to meteorological phenomena, to storm, flood, or whirlwind. On the contrary, the sun rose jocund with a July face. Morning decked her beauty with rubies. Now all I meant was, look at, on the contrary, the sun rose jocund with a July face. On page 314 and light in August, we have the same word. It's in the, oh boy, it's in the first paragraph. There's only like one paragraph on here. Boy, look at this. Towards the middle, he descended. Okay, because when the men were gone at last and he descended, emerged into the level, John colored sun and went to the kitchen door. He didn't ask for food at all. John Keel. Same word. It means yellow sun. I like that word. And since we're on Faulkner, go back to Villette. On page, this is also towards the end if I remember correctly. Page 472 in Villette, last paragraph at the end. All he had yet said I could count as mere sound and fury, signifying nothing. Not so, the present attack. The sound and fury signifying nothing. You know that comes from Macbeth. That is Macbeth in Macbeth. I like the the parts with the ghostly nun on pages 173, 335. Let's look at 173. Look at this long paragraph coming off another long paragraph. Are these? No, there's more than one sentence. Well was it known to be tenanted by rats, by black beetles, and by cockroaches. Nay, rumor affirmed that the ghostly nun of the garden had once been seen here. A partial darkness obscured one end, across which, as for deeper mystery, an old russet curtain was drawn, by way of the screen, to a sombre band of winter cloaks, pendant each from its pin, like a malefactor from his gibbet. The nun. Let's go to 335. Second paragraph. One evening, the first in December, I walked by myself to the Carré. It was 6 o'clock. The class doors were closed, but within the peoples rampant in the license of evening recreation were counterfeiting and miniature chaos. Toward the end. I thought of the nun, but hardly feared her. Though the staircase was behind me leading up, though blind, black night from landing to landing to the haunted Guinier, yet I own my heart quaked, my pulse leaped, when I suddenly heard breathing and rustling, and turned, saw in the deep shadow of the steps a deeper shadow still, a shape that moved and descended. It paused a while at the class door, and then it glided before me. Simultaneously came a clander of a distant doorbell. Lifelike sounds bring lifelike feelings. The shape was too brown and low for my gaunt nun. It was only Madame Beck, on duty. But this nun haunts her to the point of her needing narcotics at the end to sleep and going on a little trip in the middle. So I'd like to thank Lucy for the challenge, or no, actually it was Ange's challenge, but I picked Lucy's favorite author, Charolette Brontë, and you might be glad to hear that I'm reading Jane Eyre. Not next, but I'm reading that for the third challenge, and I'm reading that for the first time as well. I'll be watching the 2011 film adaptation of that, Jane Eyre. So I want to give a shout out to Lucy and Katie in England, Kate Howe in America, to Ange in Australia, right? My friends in Ireland and Italy, New Zealand, and Scotland, Texas, and I will see you next time. Cilantro. And it was Charlotte Bronte's last book. And it was after all were dead about her. Everyone was dead.